By proposing to host US nuclear weapons on Polish territory, Andrzej Duda hopes to revive a nuclear sharing initiative he first presented to then US President Joe Biden's administration in 2022, according to the Financial Times. The Polish president emphasized that the final decision on nuclear deployment rests with Donald Trump. However, he reminded that in 2023, in violation of all international obligations, the Kremlin's dictator transferred tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus.
NATO's borders shifted eastward in 1999, so 26 years later, NATO's infrastructure must move east as well. To me, this is obvious. I believe it is not just the right time, but also that it would be safer if these weapons were already here. Andrzej Duda, president of Poland, quoted by Financial Times.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk also supports the idea of deploying nuclear weapons in Poland. On March 7, he stated that given the threat from Russia, Europe could find itself on the brink of war within the next few years. This is why Warsaw is engaged in serious negotiations with Paris regarding French President Emmanuel Macron's proposal to use France's nuclear arsenal for the protection of European allies. According to an ILAB poll, nearly 60% of French citizens support this idea. Macron has previously stated that it is becoming increasingly difficult for Europeans to rely on NATO forces alone.
Nous avons l'armée la plus efficace d'Europe.
Since World War II, we have had nuclear deterrence capabilities. This protects us far more than many of our neighbors. Since 1964, these forces have always played a role in maintaining peace and security in Europe. I have decided to initiate strategic discussions about protecting our European allies through our deterrence forces. The final decision will rest with the heads of state and military commanders of European nations.
Germany's Chancellor candidate Friedrich Merz has also expressed openness to discuss nuclear sharing agreements with the UK and France. However, he does not rule out the need for US protection, reports The Guardian, citing broadcaster DLF. Notably, after World War II, Germany committed to a non-nuclear defense policy under various international agreements, but remains part of NATO's nuclear sharing program.
Nuclear sharing is a topic we must discuss. We need to be stronger together in nuclear deterrence. We must always engage with both countries, France and the UK, while also maintaining the US nuclear umbrella, which we certainly want to preserve. Friedrich Merz, German Chancellor candidate, in an interview with DLF.
Previously, US President Donald Trump called on nations to move toward a nuclear disarmament. He stated that he had made progress with this issue with Russia and China. Trump pointed out that the US and Russia possess the largest nuclear arsenals, while China could reach a similar level within 4 to 5 years. However, while Trump advocates for disarmament, Beijing, Moscow and Tehran are set to discuss Iran's nuclear program at a meeting in China on March 14. Meanwhile, US intelligence warns that Iranian scientists are actively exploring ways to rapidly develop nuclear weapons. Tehran, however, denies any military ambitions.
They say we will not allow Iran to obtain nuclear weapons. If we wanted to develop nuclear weapons, the US would not be able to stop us. We don't have nuclear weapons and we're not trying to get them. That's because we don't seek them ourselves.
At the beginning of March, Donald Trump stated that he wanted to negotiate a nuclear agreement with Iran.
We have a situation with Iran that something's going to happen very soon, very, very soon. You'll be talking about that pretty soon, I guess, and hopefully we can have a peace deal.
If negotiations fail, Trump has warned that the US may be forced to take military action against Iran. Reported by Katerina Bastun, Yulia Granovska, UATV News. The evolving global security landscape demands that Europeans address this issue together, declared German Chancellor candidate Friedrich Merz in an interview with German broadcaster DLF. He stated that he is open to negotiations with London and Paris regarding the joint use of nuclear weapons, but does not rule out relying on US protection.
The sharing of nuclear weapons is an issue we need to talk about. We have to be stronger together in nuclear deterrence. We should talk with both countries, France and Britain, always, and in addition from the perspective of supplementing the American nuclear shield, which we of course want to see maintained. Friedrich Merz, candidate for Chancellor of Germany, in an interview with DLF.
On March 5, French President Emmanuel Macron initiated a strategically significant discussion. In a televised address, he stated that Paris intends to explore with European partners the possibility of extending its national nuclear deterrence to cover the entire European Union.
Nous avons l'armée la plus...
We have the most efficient army in Europe, and thanks to the choices made by our elders after the Second World War, we are equipped with nuclear deterrent capabilities. Since 1964, France has played an explicit role in preserving peace and security in Europe. But in response to the historic appeal of the future German Chancellor, I have decided to open the strategic debate on the protection afforded by our deterrent to our allies on the European continent.
According to The Guardian, Germany committed to non-nuclear defense in several international agreements after World War II. However, it does participate in NATO's nuclear sharing program. Analysts note that this proposal marks a dramatic shift in Berlin's policy, as Germany has historically relied on US support for its security.
Germany fully understands the potential future scenarios, particularly the aggressive actions of the Russian Federation. In this context, the nuclear component could serve as a deterrent weapon. Macron's statements serve primarily as a warning to both Moscow and Washington that neither Russian nor American nuclear blackmail has found support in European capitals.
Poland is also closely examining Paris's proposal, confirmed Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. He emphasized that the financial aspect must also be considered. According to Tusk, around 14 billion euros per year are spent solely on maintaining the nuclear arsenal. Another key issue is determining who would have actual control over such weapons.
The French proposal is not new. This topic has also appeared several times in conversations with me. That is the possibility of expanding these possibilities of deterrence with nuclear weapons on the part of France, and of course, it is most worth considering.
Lithuania's Prime Minister urged caution regarding Paris's nuclear umbrella initiative, warning against action that could undermine trust in NATO. Meanwhile, Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda welcomed Macron's proposal to deploy nuclear weapons in partner countries.
I think it's a very interesting idea, and we see to this proposal with high expectations because, nuclear umbrella would serve as really very serious deterrence towards Russia. And it is very important to use this opportunity, all opportunities to increase our resilience, and especially in the eastern flank, because eastern flank is exposed to different kind of threats.
France and the United Kingdom are the only two European nations possessing nuclear weapons. According to the BBC, France currently has fewer than 300 nuclear warheads, while the UK possesses approximately 250. The fundamental difference is that France's arsenal is entirely sovereign, developed and maintained independently, whereas the UK relies on US technological support. Reported by Katerina Bastun, KD, UATV News.